Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys is another Ninjago video. Today we're tackling the last story in the Ninjago Quest for the Lost Powers book. Again, you can probably find this online. I bought it for about 15 bucks, about 100 pages. Pretty good so far. We already reviewed the Kai, Zane, and Cole story, which is really cool. Again, spoilers. If you have not read the book, please make sure to buy it or find a way to read it because it is canon. It does take place in a timeline after Season 15 crystallized. So if you have not seen up to Season 15 crystallized, if you have not, essentially seen the end of the first show, and you don't want to get spoiled on this, because again, they do lose their powers in the show at one point, and they do have to kind of, this, again, book kind of, shows how they get their powers back. So just, yeah, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't read the book, you don't want to get spoiled, Nanny and Poppy, I'm talking about you, leave a like, and then leave, because we're going to get to it. But yeah, today we're tackling Jay's story. Now, some of these stories have been kind of up and down. I think that Kai's has been kind of good, a little more humorous. Of course, Zane is more about, I guess, the whole Ice Emperor escapade of Season 11 and how he's dealing with guilt of that, which is really freaking cool. They actually, revisited that. And then Cole was, of course, learning how to regain his powers and kind of becoming a farmer and all that and helping out Sally Bob and what have you. And Jay's is a little bit less serious because it's Jay, but also it is still really good, and it's very much a Jay story. So Chapter 1 is called The Getaway, and it's basically entailing Nia and Jay kind of going on a vacation after Season 15 crystallized, and they're kind of just, enjoying, a good vacation by a beach or what have you, like a little, fancy resort type thing. Nia's like, hey, it'll be fun, and Jay's like, well, I don't really have my powers, so, is this gonna work? And Nia's like, just be Jay, be stupid, be funny. He's like, okay. So Jay's kind of being a little bit paranoid. Oh, what if they never come back? And he's still kind of trapped in this mindset. And Nia's like, no, shut up. She says that, stop talking and get lost. She kind of shoves him out the door. And then Chapter 2, Lost and Found, begins with Jay essentially being lost in the wilderness, in the woods, in like the back area where I went to Universal. Basically, there's the hotel, and then to get to the Universal Resort, you had to take a boat. But to get to the boat, you had to not walk through an effing jungle, but you had to go through some kind of back ways and whatever. It wasn't that bad. It's nothing like this book here, but it's kind of where, as you see, this is not this is not me trying to go to Universal to get to Harry Potter land. I was not trapped in an oasis, but at the same time, it kind of feels like that. You're kind of walking through this jungle area and all that, and Jay gets kind of effing lost, and he gets kind of mad. He says, all these plants look alike. Then he gulped. I wonder if venomous frogs are hiding under them, just waiting to pounce on me or make me part of their all-their-can-eat buffet. How embarrassing would that be, surviving the Crystal King only to be taken out by a toad with a rumbly tummy? So Jay kind of is going through this mental spout where not only does he want his powers back and he feels kind of useless, he's also lost in the middle of a jungle, and his paranoia is kind of getting to him, right? We've seen Jay freak out. We've seen him do freakouts in the show, so it's kind of nice that that's still happening there. And then a very unforeseen force kind of appears, and of course this chapter is called Lost and Found. So he's lost, and again, spoilers. If you don't want to get ruined on this, I don't know why you're still here, but again, here we go. Unagami finds him. Yeah, the little robotic thing from Season 12 Prime Empire, basically the main freaking villain turns out to be a little kid. Unagami is there, and he's kind of just more free after the events of Season 12. And that's when he runs into Jay, and he's like, hey, Jay! So they're kind of, if you've seen Season 12, you know that they kind of get off to a rocky start, and then by the end of that season, they're kind of more friends, and they're able to kind of make peace and be friends. Because at the end of the day, Jay's, I don't know, close to 20 years old, maybe 20 in this timeline. And Unagami is AI, but he's like a walking, talking... It's basically like Zane and Pixel, you know what I mean? Like, they're androids, they're, robots, but they still, have feeling and they emote. It's kind of the same thing with Unagami. He's basically a little kid. And they kind of ran into each other, and they're just kind of looking for stuff, and Unagami's like, hey, I'm following a treasure. See what we can find. And Jay's like, alright, well, I'm effing lost anyway, might as well, what the heck? So, Unagami says essentially, a moment later, a holographic face of Milton Dyer appeared. Unagami says, hi, Dad, it's so good to see you. You'll never guess who I'm with right now. And then Jay says, so much for not thinking about my inner emptiness. Jay said gloomily. So yeah, he kind of meets up with Unagami and they kind of go on this little adventure. Chapter 3 is called Buried Treasure, and they're basically just kind of walking around this area until they stumble upon some cool stuff. It's kind of like a bonding moment between Jay and Unagami. They're just kind of talking, and Unagami is like, "Hey, I'm really smart, and you're not." So they kind of do that little thing where he's got this giant freaking IQ, and Jay's like, "Well, okay," So they're trying to find some stuff. Jay's kind of pissed off. Unagami's like, "Are you fine?" And Jay says, "I'm fine. Just wondering why lost cities are always in jungles and not in places I'm familiar with, like city parks or something like that." Unagami tapped his chin, thinking, "I guess it would be because a lost city would likely be discovered if it were in a developed area, like," and then Jay says, "Lightning bolt!" So they kind of get attacked, and then Unagami's like, No, lightning bolts aren't developed, Jay. I think that's pretty obvious." And then Jay says, "No, a lightning bolt, look." So he finds a lightning bolt insignia on the ground as Unagami and them are kind of following this map. And that leads to a gigantic hole in the wall as soon as Jay picks up the lightning bolt, or in the hole in the ground as soon as Jay picks up the lightning bolt. And this it kind of has like an Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones, Tintin-esque kind of feel to it, I guess, which is, kind of cool. Unagami and Jay kind of go on this little tag team adventure. Chapter 4, Secrets in the Dark. This is where they're using a flashlight, and they're just kind of trying to work their way around this little area that they found in the ground. Jay says, "Well, I can't communicate with powers, so it's kind of different." Unagami said, "Yeah, I felt the same way until my dad and I figured some things out and we started communicating better." So that's canon, right? Unagami and Milton Dyer, his creator, kind of work things out, which is nice. They kind of joke around, and then they basically find this like lost library. I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla a few days ago, and I discovered a library with a bunch of scrolls and shit, and I was like, "Oh, it's in this book." So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so they basically find this library with a bunch of Ninjago and this ancient scrolls and all that, and then they basically, stuff hits the fan. And Chapter 5, Nowhere to Go But Up, the building starts to literally collapse, and it starts to kind of destroy everything. Before they could celebrate, a loud rumbling cut him off, and the entire cavern started to shake violently. "And that sounds like an earthquake," Unagami said, "and it's building to its full force." So it's an earthquake happening. Unagami says, "I don't think it is a natural earthquake. It could have been here to deal with some ruin robbers." And they're not actually trying to ruin or rob or ruin. They're trying to, escape, and they basically stumble upon this big effing area, and they're like, "Oh, cool, this is neat," and then stuff literally goes down. And this is where Jay gets his full potential again, or true potential, where he's kind of carrying Unagami, rushing up these stairs, shooting electricity at the rocks and boulders trying to attack him, and Jay kind of pieces it together through, talking with Unagami that, that he has to kind of rely on others, and that the other people in his life wouldn't abandon him and give up, so he shouldn't give up either, and have faith that his powers will return. And they do. He escapes, and then that's when Nia coincidentally finds them, and Nia's like, "Hey, you're an idiot, and I know you get lost. I knew it. And who's that? Unagami? What the fudge are you doing there?" So yeah, Nia, Jay, and Unagami kind of leave, and says as they walk toward the brush, Jay looked over Unagami's head at Nia, and he says, "Wait, is my sense of direction really that bad?" Nia smiled warmly in response, "It's nice to have you back." So not only is Jay's full potential back, his sense of humor and his sense of belonging is back as well. So it's kind of cool, and that's the end of the entire book, guys. I freaking did it. I finally did it. I covered all the books. I'd have to say I think probably Zane is my favorite, and then maybe Cole, Jay, and Kai. I like them all, though, and again, it's really cool that we actually have this canon book here to actually kind of explain and kind of put the pieces together, no pun intended, to actually kind of enjoy what happens between the end of one show and the beginning of another show, which is, of course, Ninjago Dragons Rising, which Season 1, Part 1 is out right now on Netflix. You can watch it. Again, I did review that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But yeah, man, we're all done covering the Quest for Lost Powers book. Again, I highly recommend it. If I were to review all of the books just, in itself, I'd probably give this book probably a 9 out of 10. I think it's really good. As a Ninjago fan, I was kind of nervous. Is it going to be really kiddie? Is it going to be kind of dumb? And it wasn't. It was very mature for what it was. It's just like the show. If you're a kid, older kid, I think you'd enjoy it. If you're a teen or an adult, you'd also love it as well. Much like the entire franchise of Ninjago. Really, really good stuff. And yeah, if you have read the book, tell me in the comments down below what your favorite book was between Kai, Cole, Jay, and Zane. And yeah, man, can't wait to cover more Ninjago. If you have any Ninjago topics you want me to cover, whether that be the book or the Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu show, seasons 1 to 15, or the new Dragons Rising show, make sure to tell me down below, or the Lego Ninjago movie, whatever. I just want to talk about Ninjago. So if you have any topics you want me to cover, leave a comment down below, and I will shout you out in a future video. Because yeah, man, any chance I get to talk about Ninjago, I am pretty friggin' happy to do that. So again, hey, I enjoyed it. Really good book. Tell me in the comments down below what your favorite was. and any other topics you want me to cover regarding Ninjago. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.